Okay. Today we're going to start. I think we're on top of Lamed Gimel Lamed Aleph, the second line from the top. Is that correct? 33, 33a.
Yes.
Line. It starts with Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. We thank Hashem that we're able to learn Torah every day. It's close to our learning. We should have basic English immediately. So it starts like this. The Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. That's a continuation of statements in the name of Shmuel. Last one was that it has to go inside the doorway. One before that says that we weren't supposed to put it inside another container. Okay, now we say Kasva al Shnei Dafim Psula. This means if the mezuzah was written on two, that doesn't mean two parchments, but it means two columns in a parchment. So you have to write it in one column. Write it in two columns, then it's going to be puzzle. Basically, the Gemara has a question. You write it on two columns and you put it on two doorposts, then psula, it's puzzle. Now, we're medayik. Over there, when you wrote it on two columns, why was it puzzle? Both of them say puzzle. Only thing is, this one says it's puzzle because you split it in half and you put it on two separate doorposts. So we're medayik. We deduced from that. But if you would have written it on two columns, but put it on one doorpost, then kshera, then it would be kosher. That contradicts the statement of Shmuel that says two dafim is puzzle, two columns is puzzle. Follow? Shmuel says two columns is puzzle. The Brisa says two columns on two doorposts is puzzle. We say why is it possible? Because it's on two doorposts, but two columns itself would be okay. That contradicts Shmuel. The Gemara answers, no, the Brisa doesn't mean that you actually put it on two different doorposts. Brisa means that you could have put it on two different doorposts because you could have, the margin between the two columns that you wrote the mezuzah was wide enough that you could have cut it and still had a margin for each mezuzah, for each half. Then that would be puzzle, which means that the problem isn't that the two doorposts, the problem is that it is the two columns. Yeah. Taisva says that, not like Rashi. Taisva says that two columns is always going to be kosher as long as it's on the same paper, as long as it's on the same parchment. It's only if it's two separate parchments that's going to be a problem. Okay.
Is there a reason? Is there a reason that someone would want to do this?
I'm not sure. Sure. Yeah, Jeff is saying that maybe that they only had two small pieces of parchment. Maybe. Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda says name of Shmuel b'mezuzah. Halachacher heketzir. This is a little controversial piece of Gemara. Says you follow the heketzir, you follow the hinges. We'll see. Amar Ravada. I'm sorry. The Gemara asks my heketzir. What is the heketzir? What does that mean? Heketzir. Heker means recognizable, and tzir means a hinge. What is Amar Ravada? Ravada says avkisa. It's the hinge that the door swings on. What says Hechidami? What's going on? It says Kigayin Pischa de Bein Trei Bati. Bein Begavri le Bein Nashi. Normally, you always put the mezuzah on the right side of the doorway that you enter into the house. That's the way it's supposed to be. Mezuzah is on the right side. Over here, you have two rooms. Each one of them has equal significance, and you have a doorway in between. Now, you don't know which one is the way of entering the house. Is it for that doorway? Is the main room there's a men's quarter and then there's a women's quarter? Is the main room the men's side? Is the main room the women's side for the house? It has equal significance. The Gemara says you follow which way that the hinges are. If the hinges are, let's see, there's two things over here, and the Gemara isn't clear. The way we view the hinge is that if the door opens inward, so we say the main room is the one that it opens into. That's like you can imagine those big, ballrooms. The doors open in, and that's the main room. So they're following the doorways, following the way the hinges go. In the shul downstairs, the doors open into which means that the main room would be the hallway. Now, the doors follow they both open into the lobby. So, but they're going to put it on the left coming into the shul, but on the right going out because the doors open that way. Now, that's one way of reading this Gemara. I'm not sure if that's the only way of reading it. You could say Heketzir means which side the door is on, which side the hinge is on. Is the hinge is it this way, or is the hinge this way? Both of them are open inward, but which side is the hinge? And the Gemara wants to say that the side that the hinge is on may be the main. They have two doors, and you have a contradiction. Yeah. Right. So that's what our Gemara is telling me. Right. So that doesn't fit with this Gemara. So this Gemara says, when do you follow the Heketzir? That's only when you have an equal significance of the rooms. But not if you know which one is the main room. But we'll see that there's other. I mean, with just this Gemara, it would seem that was incorrect. But there's more Gemara. That requires right. Fellow's asking a good question. He's asking that the building code requires the doors to go a certain way. Now we lose the concept of Heketzir. Because it's not because that's proving which one is the main room. Or maybe not. Maybe good morning. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't have to do with the building code and which one's the main room. It has to do with the Heketzir itself. Whichever one you did, that makes it the main room, right? It doesn't matter. That makes it. Two ways of looking at it. Okay, Taylor, let's take a look at this a little further. But it's good to know the source of the Chabad way of putting up the mezuzah. Rish Galusa Banabesa. Rish Galusa built a house. Amalei Rav Nachman. So Amalei Rav Nachman. He says to Rav Nachman. Now Rav Nachman is actually the son-in-law of the Rish Galusa. Yeah. Says to Rav Nachman. Kavali mezuzah. You put up the mezuzahs for me. Now, Amalei Rav Nachman says, Tali Dasha Beresha, first put up the doors. Now, Dasha doesn't mezuzah is a pesach. Now, dasha doesn't mean the door, it doesn't mean the door frame. Rashi says it means the frame. It is the Rambam holds the door is required. I mean, there's different opinions, but Rashi says it means the frame. Now, Rashi explains. So why should he have to put up the door frame first? The reason is because if you put up the mezuzah first, it's tasav alei menasi. We're going to see, the Gemara is going to tell us soon that the mezuzah can only go after the house is finished. You can't put up the mezuzah while the house is still in middle, because just like tzitzis, you can only put on the tzitzis after it's already completed. Just like sukkah, you can only put on the schach after the sukkah's the frame and the walls are completed. You can't put up the schach and then put up the walls later. You can't put up the mezuzah and then put up the rest of the door frame. So that's Rashi's pshat. Tosfos argues over here. Tosfos says that no, he was telling the Reish Galusa, Rav Yechon was saying that I don't know which way to put up the mezuzahs because I don't know which way the doors are going to open. Not because of Tasav Leimnasi, but when you put up the doors, it's going to change everything. If it goes on this side or on that side, depending on if it's a room like Ben Gavri Lenashi, if it's two rooms of equal significance, you don't know which one's the main one. It's a very interesting Gemara that the Gemara is not clear if you have a men's room, not a men's room as in a restroom, but a men's area of the house and a women's area of the house, which one is the main one? You would think the Gemara says, oh, of course the men is there, but it's not true. The Gemara actually, we have no weight to either one without the door, without the way the door swings. Nagar would mean like a peg. Right. 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 Yeah, I would have thought that the Gemara would have said, "Oh, the men's are important because of the mitzvahs or something, but it doesn't do that. It says the women's. I'm assuming that the men have a significance in the house, and the women have a significance in the house, and it doesn't. Okay. So I'm Rav Yudah, I'm a Rav. Before we was Rav Yudah Mishmal, this is Rav. Rav says that if you make the mezuzah like a peg, that means that you put it in straight like this into the door. You drill a hole and you put it in. Psula, that's possible. It's supposed to go on the length of the doorway, not in the Aini. Is that really so? Well, guess Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef. Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Yosef came from Eretz Yisrael. Amar. He says, "Kula mezuzah de bei Rebbe k'min nagar avid." Says, what do you mean? All the mezuzahs in the house of Rebbe were put in like pegs. He pischa. The Ayel Bei Rebbe, the Bei Midrash, and there was one door that Rebbe would use on his way into the Beis Medrash. That Lehavi mezuzah, he didn't have any mezuzah at all. So we have a statement from Yitzchak Bar Yosef regarding the mezuzahs of Rebbe, and then we have the statement of Rav, which contradicts that. Gemara says, Leikasha, David Kesechsa. When did Rav say that it's possible? That's only when it's laying like a peg. David Kestavira. Another one is when it's made on a Stavira is the way the lower leg connects to the higher leg, which I guess means. You see the second picture down, the second picture in Rashi. There's like an L shape. Mm-hmm. I think what it means that you put it into the doorway like this, but then they slid it upwards. You put it in and put it up. Well, just the way of getting it in. But maybe if there's a comment there that they say.
You mean so it's bent in the middle?
I'm not sure if they're actually bending the parchment or if they're putting it in this way and then sliding it up. What do they say there? That's the problem if it's horizontal, right? It's made like an ankle, 14. Upright, rather than horizontal, not horizontal, right? Yeah, that's 13. That's what it's possible. Alternatively, this means an L shape. It's a lower leg joint foot since one end is upright. Oh, so maybe it's Rav Naftali, the way you're saying
ankle,
it. That the ankle. I thought it was the other part. Okay. Rabbi Nakama, however, objects that it's not seemly for the Holy Writ to be kept in upright position, just as we find that the Sefer Torah and tablets in the Holy Ark were not kept in upright position, but rather in a horizontal position. Therefore, explains the Gemara to mean the opposite of what Rashi explains to mean. Like a peg refers to a peg such as the pegs in the tabernacle, which were put vertically into the ground, like an ankle. Yeah. Yeah. So in this thesis here, the Minitam holds also in the tefillin that the parshias are not supposed to go in. You have the box of tefillin, so if you open up the box, you pull one side down, right, and you can look inside. So you'll see the parchment rolled up like this. Minitam says no, you have to put it sideways. He wants it laying flat. So no, because our Rabbeinu Tams are not really Rabbeinu Tams. It's really the Gaonim's opinion. But we'll see it. We'll get to that Gemara in like 2 days. That's another Gemara. If it would really be Rabbeinu Tams, it would actually be twisted, like different. Hilkach Nera Taisa says, Bein leperish hakunshus, bein leperish Rabbeinu Tam, kistavira de kashera haina ba'alachsein. Put it on a diagonal. Svardim, it's interesting. The Svardim, their Sefer Torah is standing up, right? The Svardim, when they read the Torah, they have the Torah standing up. Ashkenazim, they read the Torah, they put it down flat, and because of that reason, we made it on a slant. Actually, the beam is on a slant, the in between standing up and laying flat. That's why our mezuzahs, according to one opinion, have to be straight, and to another opinion, have to be flat. And so we put it on a diagonal. It's the middle. Nish the hin, nish the head. But right? Sorry?
So it's a compromise.
Compromise, yeah.
It's unusual to see that in halakha, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but maybe the lesson is as you walk into the house that you see that it's all about compromise.
Oh, okay.
According to Reb Naftali, according to your pshat, that it's bending, it's all about being flexible. Okay.
You know, it seems like funny that at this stage in our history, they're debating how our mezuzah should go. I mean, it's not like the idea of mezuzah just came about in the time of the Mishnah.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. That's not interesting. They could have looked at their parents' doors and see what they did. Baruch atah.
Oh, man.
Okay. It wasn't a mezuzah the way we have mezuzahs. It would have been something Kabbalistic that represents the mezuzah. Yeah, that's what we're holding. Aini, is this really so that Rebbe didn't have a mezuzah on the way to the Beis Medrash? Yeah, I was talking to someone yesterday. I said it was discussing like a machlekes that he has in his community. So I said, he tells me, I can't believe you're calling this a machlekes. There's only one side. There's my side. It's not a machlekes. It's like, yeah, that's what the other side said.
Those briskers.
Okay, it's funny. It's funny that. Okay, Eini. He pischa davi ayel ba Ravuna lebe midrash ba'avalim mezuzah. But there's a doorway that Rav Huna had to the base medrash, and he did have a mezuzah. And we said that Rebbe didn't have a mezuzah on a small door from his house to the base medrash. The Gemara answers, "Hahu ragal haba." That door that Rav Huna had was what was more frequently used. Most people use that door. One that Rebbe had was hardly used. What does that mean? If you have a door that's not used, you don't need a mezuzah. Now, there's a sheet of Mekubetzes here. Just 1 second.
Isn't that the case in halacha? That if you have a door that's locked and is never used, it's a wall.
I didn't know that. I thought that it needed a mezuzah anyway. Zion is well, Isi shall buy a slave a regular pesachon. The Shita Kemetzes adds in Afagav Damin but the Knisias but in Chayav mezuzah. A base medrash doesn't even need a mezuzah, right? It's only Beisecha, your house, not the house of Hashem, right? That's we had that Gemara somewhere else. But anyway, he says, but they probably did other things in that base medrash, so that it's considered like they had Fabrengens there or whatever. Aha. Okay. Okay. So we're saying that other people would use it, so that's why it was Chayv Mezuzah. Amrav Yehuda Amarav Mezuzah Halachacha Ragel. That if a doorway has a room has two doors, which one has a mezuzah? The one that's more frequently used. This contradicts everything that we know. We put mezuzahs on every door. Now we're saying that you only put it on the door that's most frequently used. What do they say there?
I don't understand that at all, because how do you take it after a nap? Study hall.
No, in his own room.
That was a study hall.
Where are they quoting that from?
I don't understand that. Who takes a nap in a study hall?
This is the Rub's room adjacent, like to the,
No.
adjacent to the, and he has a little door, he comes in, and only he goes out to his room.
Sorry, no. No.
Two entrances to a room. The mezuzah is placed on the entrance that is more commonly used. This apparently contradicts the Gemara below, which states that there are several entrances, and each entrance requires a mezuzah, right? Rashi there addresses the contradiction and presents two resolutions. See also end of this note. Thus the Gemara answers the Rebbe did not have a mezuzah on the side entrance, since most people use the main entrance. Rav Huna's case, most people, okay, we have the pshat in the Gemara. Question is, what do we do with our custom? The problem is, okay, now he quotes the problem that this looks like, according to this, that you don't need a mezuzah, that you do need a mezuzah on a base medrash. If he uses it only on occasion, then it doesn't require mezuzah. In this way, Rambam resolves the contradiction between the statement of Rabbi Yehuda and the Gemara below, which states that all entrances require mezuzah, even if some are not commonly used, because even he himself doesn't usually use that. Okay, whatever, I'm not sure. The Shulchan Aruch rules that a study hall does not require mezuzah, but since some say that it does, it is fitting to be concerned for their opinion, fix a mezuzah to the entrance, albeit without making a bracha.
Maybe Rabbi's house was base medrash, and Rabbi never enjoyed from this world even one bit.
So Rebbe never ate in the base medrash, yeah? That's what you want to say. Rav
So
Huna did.
his house is like a base medrash, and he never enjoyed from this world in one bit.
No. Not even a pineapple.
It says radishes.
I thought no one was supposed to eat in the basement.
It's a good drush. Chaim, it's a good drush. I got to see if it fits perfectly though. Yeah, you know what Chaim's saying? That's for some reason it doesn't need a mezuzah because of it. He didn't have the enjoyment of it.
Can we go back for a moment to the?
Yeah, just one second.
You're interrupted.
Just one second. The Rosh cited by the Torah notes that Marami Rottenberg is the teacher of the Rosh, reported that he did not originally have mezuzah in his study hall, and that he would be plagued by a troubled spirit when taking an afternoon nap there. And this phenomenon ceased when he finally fixed the mezuzah to the entrance of the study hall.
How did he take a nap?
Now, how does the Marami Rottenberg know this? How does he know this? The Gemara doesn't tell us
I'm
this.
assuming there was a coffee station.
Okay, yeah. What did you want to do?
I'm not gonna ask him that, it's confusing, but going back to the men's and the women's entrance.
Yeah.
So we said that the men's trumps the women's,
No, we didn't say that.
what did we say?
We didn't say either one. The Gemara was very politically correct. Where it says depends which way the door swings.
Purely on the swing.
Now, what would you do if you had one of those swinging doors, like in the pizza shops? The guy comes, the waiter comes out. I don't know. It's going to be a problem.
So it's
When we-
purely based on the swing.
When we moved to Miami, so one of the guys in the kollel that came with us, so he had a question on the doorway in his house, in the apartment that we rented. So he called Rabbi Heller, because Rabbi Heller was our Rosh Kollel in New York. Rabbi Heller says, try to rent a different house.
And what if the door doesn't swing? It's a pocket door, sliding glass.
It's going to be a problem.
It's going to be
Yeah,
problems.
there is one other way of determining, which the Gemara is going to tell us soon. That's to do the way that you walk through the house. Now, the priority, basically, we have the main room, the door swing, and the way that you walk through the house are ways of determining which side the mezuzah goes. The question is, which one gets priority? Main room or this? Door, walking through the house, derech halicha, or this? That seems to be like the machlekes
So
in
like
here.
a back door or garage door. That's why I always hear the question comes up.
Now, there's
Because
two
if you
opinions
come
about
in- And how do we hold? It's up to
we
local-
basically we say that all doors to the outside are always on the right coming in. All doors to the outside are always on the right coming in.
And that's because you still can come in.
The question is, in the inside, that's okay. Amar Rab Zera, Amar Rab Masna, Amar Shmuel, Mitzvah la'anicha b'tchilas shlisha elyon. You should put it on the beginning of the top third of the door. Rav Huna Amar Magbia min akarka tefach, u'marchikaisa min akayra tefach, v'chol ha'pesach kula kasher l'mezuzah. Rav Huna says you don't put it one tefach to the close to the ground. That's not right. That would be like kicking area. That you don't want to do that. You don't put it on the tefach closest to the ceiling. And also, but the entire doorway is kosher. So we have a machlekes here between Shmuel and Rav Huna. Rav Huna is a student of Rav. It's two classic different opinions. Meisvei, the Gemara has a question on Shmuel. Shmuel says I'd have to put it on the top third. Magbia min akarka tefach, mark min akayra tefach, v'chol ha'pesach kula kasher l'mezuzah de Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yosi Rabbi Yehuda says not a tefach next to the ground, not a tefach from the ceiling, but the whole doorway is fine, which seems to be exactly what Rav Huna says, not Shmuel. Rabbi Yosi ukshartam uchsavtam. It says in the pasuk that you tie it on your arm and you write it on your doorway, on your doorpost. Makshira begoiva. Oh, it's interesting. This is Rashi. The Goiva Harosh is Rashi's Gersa. I would have thought without for Rashi, I would have thought Makshira Begoiva. I would have thought it's the upper part of the arm. But Rashi doesn't say that. Do they comment on the notes that there's another way of reading this Gemara? Just like the tying, you put on the upper part. So to the writing, you put on the upper part. So the Gemara says like this: according to Rav Huna, we're going to say there's no problem according to Rav Huna because Huda Amar Rabbi Yehuda. He doesn't hold like Rabbi Yossi. He holds like Rabbi Yehuda that says the whole doorway is kosher, just not the top tefach and not the bottom tefach. El Shmuel, but according to Shmuel, that he says that you have to put it on the upper third. Amar Kaman. Who does he hold like? Like Rabbi Yehuda. He doesn't hold like Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says the whole doorway. Well, like Rabbi Yossi, because it can't be Rabbi Yossi, because Rabbi Yossi says it has to be close to the top. Rashi learns that it means the top of the head. It's not on the forehead, but up, further up, where the child's head is soft. What do you call that area?
Soft spot.
Soft spot. Okay.
No, that's the nickname. It's where the fontanelles.
The fontanelles.
Didn't.
Another group in the 50s.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's called.
So it doesn't fit.
Amar
Ravuna Breder Rav Nassan Le'olam Rabbi Yossi. Really, Shmuel holds like Rabbi Yossi. Interesting. The halacha that we have is that normally if there's a machlekes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi, we follow Rabbi Yossi, right? That's one of the rules. I think Rabbi Naftali, you had a chart once. You had no. I think that's the rule. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi, we go like Rabbi Yossi. So and Shmuel would be doing that. And what does it mean? Betchila shlish elyon the kamar. What does he mean? The upper third. It doesn't mean that you put it on the upper third. It means that you put it on the top. Don't make it extend it more than 1/3. Don't make it 1/3 more than 1/3.
What do you mean top? Just above the demarcation.
That's not what we're saying. Yeah, that's what we thought. That's what if you simply read Shmuel like that. Then, the way he's learning it is that. But the way the Gemara is now answering Shmuel, tchila shlish elyon is you don't remove it. You don't distance it from the top of the door more than 1/3.
No,
which sounds like you try to get it closer to the door.
Tchila shlish elyon means the beginning of the top third. You don't have a top third until you have another 2/3. Which means the beginning of the top third is the lower part of the top third. Otherwise, it's the beginning of the door. Just think about it.
Yeah, take a look at the way the Gemara reinterprets it.
Look at number one. Behind door number one, what? Look at number one. Small man to much number below the upper third. He does reading for the he says within the upper third. No, that's not what it means. I'm glad somebody's got their alarm clock on. They could wake up now and listen. That's not what it says. That's what you wanted to, within the upper third. You do not have an upper third until you've made another 2/3.
I know.
So who tells you you're counting from the top? Why can't you say you're counting from the bottom of the upper third? Because that's the first place an upper third exists.
Right. But what the Gemara is saying is that Rabbi Yossi says that you have to put it on the top. Ray says you have to put it on the top part of the door. Comes like Shmuel says it have to be in the upper third. So we thought that that's a contradiction. We're saying no. Shmuel's saying that the top of the door that Rabbi Yossi meant is up until the bottom of the top third. You have the whole top all the way down.
We don't place it all the way up on
How
top.
long is
Because that whole area is acceptable.
Our sponsors want us to move on. Our sponsors, I just got a notification.
I still feel you. I mean,
okay.
Lamasa, I put it. You have a 9-foot door. You don't put it at 9 feet. You put it at 6 feet.
Yeah, that's another issue if it's too high.
Disco wants us to move on.
Amarava.
Our sponsor.
Amarava. Amarava mitzvah lanicha b'tefach v'samach l'rishus harabim. Rava says it's a mitzvah to put it on the tefach closest to the outer to the outside. My timer. What's the reason for this? Rabbanan Amri. The Rabbanan say kadesh yifka b'mezuzah miyad. that you should touch the mezuzah immediately when you start coming to the house. You should yifka doesn't mean to touch; it means you should meet. Right? Could mean to touch, but it could also mean to meet. And Rav Chanina Misura Amar Kihechi the Sinterei. Rav Chanina Misura says so that you should be guarded. You want every part of the house to be guarded. Amar Rav Chanina. Rav Chanina says, Bayurei. Take a look. The way of Hashem is different than the way of flesh and blood. Midas Basavadam. The way of flesh and blood is Melach Yeshiv Mibifnim. The king sits on the inside. And his servants, the nation is outside protecting him. Midas HaKadosh Baruch Hu came by Hashem, it's the opposite. Avadav Yeshim Mifnim, the servants are inside. And Hashem is on the outside. Shenemar Hashem Shemrecha, Hashem Tzilcha Yadimnecha. Hashem is your Tzilcha, is your Tzilcha could mean it could mean shade, it could mean a protection.
That Unclus's line.
Why can't you
This
learn?
is the Gemara that Unclus.
Why can't you learn from the Yitzias Mitzrayim, the dam, which was put on the inside to remind us? Well, obviously Hashem doesn't need. Why can't we say mezuzah should be put on the inside to remind us that Hashem is protecting our house? Because we don't need on the outside, which we can't see when the door's closed, if it's under normal situations. Because of course Hashem knows He's protecting. We need to be reminded. So why is our answer here that's put on the outside just for coming in the house? It's a swayed answer, if you ask me.
The mezuzah represents Hashem's protection.
I know, but you don't see it if your door's closed.
Okay, but that's so too. Hashem, you don't see that He's protecting you, but nevertheless He's protecting you from the outside.
So if He's protecting you from the outside,
Your short-term memory. If you don't remember when you saw it when you walked in.
Better to fight the war in the other country.
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying if this is.
I think what you're saying is even stronger. That even though we don't always see Hashem's protection, but nevertheless it's on the outside. Hashem is protecting us.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should have a picture of a dancing rabbi in your house.
Darash Rab Yosef Brei the Rava Mishmei the Rava Rab Yosef Rava's son says the name of Rava Hemek La Tefach. Someone digs into the doorway a tefach and he puts the mezuzah in. That's psula. It's too deep inside. It can't be that deep. Leim Messiah has to be on the door frame, not in the wall. Leim Messiah, let's bring a support from Rabbi Inicha. Let's say the mezuzah was put into. How do they translate patzin? Aishatala ala malbein. Must be some sort of like frame or board. They put a board up. They put it under the board of the door frame. They put it. You have a door frame, and then they put it inside behind the boards of the door frame.
It's just another way of saying door.
The doorpost. Aishatala ala malbein. Or they put a brick over it. If it's the tefach behind the brick, then tzarech mezuzah cheres. You need to put up a new mezuzah. It's too deep. Imlav. If it's not so deep, ain't it tzarech mezuzah cheres? Then it's perfectly fine. So this supports what Rava says that it can't be a tefach deep into the wall. Gemara says lav daf gets a proof. Doesn't have to be a proof because kitani bepesach shachir yadelas. Okay, this you have to explain to me. Apparently, there were people that had, there's two interpretations here, but they had people that had two doors, a large door and a small door. So if you do have these two doors, you have to put up a mezuzah for the small one as well. And let me see in your commentary how they explain this.
Isn't this a corner?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Two doors perpendicular.
Pesach Shachiri Adelas. So the Gemara, the comment says over here, the board, which the Brisa speaks, when we said if there was a board that was a tefach, is actually a large double post standing at one of the corners of the house, say the southwestern corner. And this double post, two entrances to the house have been cut out on right angles to each other. One entrance on the southern side, another entrance on the western side. double post's corner connection, which has been left intact, separates the two entrances and forms the right doorpost, the left doorpost of the other one. The rightmost part of the double post forms the right doorpost of the southern entrance, and the leftmost part forms the left doorpost of the western entrance. When the door of, say, the southern entrance is open, assuming that it pivots on the left side, the corner, the western entrance is behind the door. Okay. It opens up, it blocks the other door. The person affixes a mezuzah to the rightmost part of the double post, that is to the right doorpost of the southern entrance. Right, which is that if the corner section which separates the two entrances is tefach wide, then the two entrances are considered distinct from one another, and the mezuzah on the right doorpost does not fulfill the mezuzah obligation, which therefore needs mezuzah on the right side. Okay. Basically, if the middle post is a tefach thick, then you need two mezuzahs instead of one mezuzah. That's
So, and where will the second one go on the west end, depending on where the hinge is?
No, but they're dealing with the outside door, so they're both going to be on the right.
They'll both be on the right, so it'll be actually on the doorpost, the tefach wide doorpost, or the left door.
Yeah, so location of mezuzah according to Rashi, some say the mezuzah is located on the right side of the south entrance. Location of mezuzah according to the Mardechai. Yeah, I'll show you the picture that they have there. But it was confusing. Okay. That's the
That picture's only when we're dealing with less than that machot, because otherwise,
then you would
if
need
it's more,
two.
you would need two.
Okay. But this, the way we're explaining that it's not a raya to Rava, that it said clearly. It says Pesach Shacher Delos Mish Tefach Tzarich Mezuzah Acheres and Rav Ein Tzarich Mezuzah Acheres. So what are you telling me that's the way we're going to explain that brisa? What explains Ketzad Ketani but actually the brisa is just explaining the law that it said. So notice, even though it said the law, and then it says the case. So you say, why do you have to tell it to me? Why do you have to tell me that case? We already have the law. It says, no, it's explaining it. Eitana. We learned in a brisa, Hemen la malbein shel kanim choitech shvei feres. What does a malbein shel kanim? What does the malbein means? A brick. What does it mean? A malbein shel kanim. A frame. There's malbein over here means a frame.
You know, like they make those wood floors now out of
bamboo.
Bamboo, so it's the same thing.
Right.
They'd have a bamboo door.
So it says like this: if you have the frame out of these reeds, you make a cut into it, into the tube, and you put the mezuzah inside that cut. That's only at first the frame was up, and then you made the cut, and then you put it in. But if you first cut it and you put it in, and then you put it on the door, you put a pre-mezuzah door frame. The door frame comes, you buy the door frame in Eichlers, in Aspaklaria. It comes already with the mezuzah attached. So then that's psula, because you have to make it and not from what's already made. Marava, these guilty doorways. Shimai is like has some guilt. How do they? What's the term? Defective. Okay. They're potter from mezuzah. My Shimai. What do you mean that's defective? There's a machlekes. Chadam leslu tikra. Some say they don't have the lintel on the top. Chadam leslu shkufe. Some say that they don't have the door post. So those are going to be potter from the mezuzah. The Rambam holds that if it doesn't have a door, it's also potter from mezuzah. It needs to have a door, like a door that closes and opens, not just a frame. We put mezuzahs even if there's a frame, just without a bracha, because of the Rambam's opinion that says that. Amar Rabba bar Shila Amar Rav Chizda, Achsadra this is a portico. It's closed on three sides, but the front entrance, the front area is totally open. Sometimes it's closed. It's open on all sides. Sometimes it's open on all sides. It's just posts with the roof. It's like a
It's
gazebo.
like a pre-sukkah thing that people have by their house, but it's not sukkah yet, so it's open, but it's
But this has a roof. But it's definitely one side is fully open. So it says P'turim min hamezuzah l'fi she'en lo petzimin. It doesn't have a frame on the side that's going to like that. It's a doorpost. It's just no wall. So that's not a door. There's no wall. The Gemara asks, "Ha yesh la petzimin chayiv." Sounds like if there would be posts, petzimin would be something protruding on the side that would make it into a door frame. Then it would be chayiv. Gemara says that's not true. Why should it be chayiv? But Davidi. But it's only there just to strengthen as a support for the roof so it doesn't collapse. That's still not a door. He's telling me that petzimin is gonna make it chayev. But those petzimin are just like sometimes people have they have like a deck. They have a roof that hangs over where they keep their grill and chairs and things. When you're under that area, there's 4x4 beams or 2x4s, 4x4s that are holding up that thing. So they have like a bunch of them. You don't need a mezuzah on any of them. You don't need a mezuzah. Those are just support so the thing doesn't crumble.
Yeah, my daughter's house is ready, and she just built the house, and I took Rabbi Marlowe to go over. And that was the question I had, because they had these big beams in
You have a
front,
bunch of them.
and you could put chairs and sit on. There was like a porch. Said none of them needed mezuzahs for the same reason. What?
In the Shillabel Harbor, they have these columns, and in the front doorway, a bunch of columns. None of those have mezuzahs, even though they're actually made like in the archways.
Is there any sheet though, people that hold the Yidduch?
Is that why you moved to North Miami Beach?
I've seen homes here that have mezuzahs.
Maybe they didn't ask. I don't know.
Is that why you moved here?
So the Gemara says, Hachi Kamar. No, what Rav Chisda is saying was, even if it does have posts, it's still pater. Because it's only made to support the roof. Amar Abaya, Chazina Lu Laspalidi de Beimar. I saw the Espalide is like the outdoor area of Mar, which means Rabbah, and Islay Petzimi, but Leslam Mezuzta. Because Kasavar, why did he had these posts there, and nevertheless he didn't put a mezuzah because he held the Chizik Tikra Davidi. It's only there to hold it up. Meisvei. Here's the question: Beishar is a small room that like a guardhouse. Someone would sit in that little room. They have this where the thing lifts up. So there's like a little house, little room that someone sits in, like an old phone booth. He sits in there to protect them from the sun while he watches the people come in. And Achsadra and also Merpeses is a porch. Chayavim bin mezuzah. It's chayavim mezuzah midrabanan. Abaya said before that it's pater min mezuzah. Achsadra. The Gemara says, but Achsadra de Beirav. Achsadra de Beirav. That's a special type of achsadra that has actually 4 walls. So then that will be chayav in mezuzah. 4 walls. What's the pshat? Why is it achsadra? It's a room. It says no. The walls only go halfway up. The walls are they're all around, but they don't reach the roof. So that's why it's an open area. But nevertheless, the fact that it's 4 makes it chayav in mezuzah. And however, the Gemara says one second, achsadra de beirav. That's a regular room. What's the chiddush of that? It says no, b'achsadra rumaisa, that is full of windows. But nevertheless, even though it's full of windows, it's still rumaisa means Roman, I guess. But nevertheless, it's chayv and mezuzah. Okay, let's leave it at Amar Rachva. Yeah, it's 3 lines down in the wide lines. Okay, good day, everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.